Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Wednesday the 31st of January. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you're all very, very well. I'm slightly under the weather myself, come back from Dublin, Dundalk with a bit of a lurgy. Not going to suggest it was anyone at the races that gave me the lurgy, but yeah, just slightly under part. So yeah, apologies if I sound a little bit sniffly or snotty or blocked or whatever that might be. But yes, not completely on top of my game this week. I'm not bedridden, but yeah. So that's my health report for you. What have we got to do? We're back in the studio. So all the technology's here. Looks mad, isn't it? All the graphics and sound effects and wobbly screens and stuff are all back. So yeah, thanks for keeping on. So we've got to cover. We've got to do a touch on a review, I think, of a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday video. Mentioned the golf from last week. There was nothing in the comments Sunday or Monday, but there was on Tuesday, so I've got to mention that. I've obviously got Wednesday's bet, last day of the month as well, so last chance saloon for us, but it's an £18 bet for Wednesday, just short of a usual full day stake. It consists of 2 split leg Yankees, 1 all at Dundalk and 2 races Exeter, 2 races Kempton. Don't like Leicester at all for Wednesday, so that's not there. So 18 quid, 8 races, 10 selections it works out as. I'll also mention the golf for this week because I was one point I was thinking I'm not gonna get involved because I wasn't really keen on the Bahrain Championship, which is a new tournament, and then the Pebble Beach stuff is a pro-am. I don't normally get into it, but actually when I started looking at it, I was like, that's actually a pretty good tournament for a bet. So I'll mention the golf, but there's 6 outright golfers, but 5 in Pebble Beach and only 1 at the Bahrain Masters. So I've got that as well. And I was going to do a little bit of a what happened on Dundalk recap for those that weren't there. And I think for today, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want this to be a crazy long video because I need to, yeah, so I'm not 100%. The other thing I was going to mention was Cheltenham anti-post stuff. So my intention was to try and get some stuff done this week. I'm not going to hold myself to it because, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to kind of be going to bed at all hours and stuff. I've started to look at a few bits for Cheltenham. Whether I'll be able to get a video done this week, I'm not sure. I was keen to do it this week before the Dublin Racing Festival at the weekend because there's a lot of Irish contenders that will performances will change the market. So for certain races, I mean, example being like the Triumph Hurdle, everybody will have been looking at the Cheltenham race at the weekend about Sergino and Burdett Road, and Sergino spanked Burdett Road, so now Sergino's the favourite, Burdett Road second favourite. And what you've got at the weekend is you've got a whole bunch of Irish horses, mostly Mullins horses, all due to run in the trial. Depending on who wins that trial, they are very likely to go off favourite for the Triumph Hurdle, so it will completely change the market. So those Sergino backers who are on now, that I'd imagine that horse come out a little bit because I think something will go and win the trial at Leopardstown and change the market. So that had been an example. I wouldn't normally get too excited about the Triumph Hurdle, but betting this side of the Dublin Racing Festival is a better idea because the market will be formed after this weekend. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to get an anti-post video out, but what I will try and do by probably, well, it might be tomorrow night, possibly Thursday night video, is try and put up a couple of anti-post selections that are due to run in Ireland at the weekend that I like the look of. And there you go, you got a bit of a clue. There might be a Mullins horse coming to you for the Triumph Hurdle. Yeah, I think those are the things I was going to cover. So, recap of where we are up to. So, Thursday last week, I left, that was my last video for the Thursday selections last week, and that was our bad day last week. So I think we were down just short of, well, 18.92 it's in my head, and it's just short of 19 quid. That was the only really bad day I had last week. There was bits either a little bit up, a little bit down every day apart from that day, and that cost us. And then we went off obviously to Dundalk on Friday and managed to get a nice place, very close second, make clear. I think it was on Friday at 22-1 at Lingfield, and then it was looking a bit grim. And then the last two races at Dundalk, I can't remember if I said this the other day or not, but on the way to Dundalk, all right, I got a lift up in the motorway, and apologies if I've said this on my last video, I can't remember. But overtook a horse box, and it was Ted Walsh's horse box. Ted Walsh was only horse he had was Ferrybank, and it was already in the selections. So yeah, note to self, as always, this is a true fact. For those of you not aware of the superstition, if you overtake the first horse box you overtake on the way to the races, that's the horse you want to be on. And clearly that worked. And then we had Special Angel follow up, ran a really nice race, but got beaten by the favourite in the end. At second, it was 50s put up on the Channel 33's SP. So we ended up with a couple of quid up on Friday. And then Saturday, again, it wasn't looking great at points, but we managed to pull out two winners. Geronimo, 8-1 was put up. That was a nice winner. And then the saver bet, which some of you will have put in the bet, and you know clearly there's. I talked about how I could have done it differently, but at least to put the thing up, was it She Sentimental? I think 16s on the channel, SP to 12s. So we had two winners. Sadly, the win Trixie, everything was second, and then of the other 6 each ways, we had two winners. So again, small profit. So last week we ended down 16.53, so it was just under a day's stake lost. So it wasn't a good result, and that was all really that Thursday cost us. And so if you then add that on to the fact we had a really terrible week the week before, it was a £79 downward swing. So you know, worst swings we've had on the channel are up into the 250s, guys. So this isn't we aren't in dire straits just yet. And for the year, that 16.53 loss put us on a £21 deficit. So for the month, we're behind £21. For the year, behind £21. 18 going on Wednesday, last day of January. So the worst case scenario is we're going to walk out of January minus 39, or we could come out better if we have any sort of performance with this £18 wager on there. Last year, when January was a bad one, I think we were down 80 quid for January last year. First year of the channel, we were up about 40. So I did sort of say the January's sort of been always been a bit of a tough one. But yeah, worst case scenario would be down 39 quid. Bear in mind, in December, which is the previous month, we were up 36 quid. So we're around about even for a couple of months, really, right? So, you know, the idea here is to have a bit of fun. So hopefully there's been fun on the way and nobody's lost a great deal. If you go back to November, we were over 500 up for that month. So it's always in context. If all you've done is just bet January, you should be down a little bit. If you bet January and December, right now you should be marginally up. And then you might be about even when if we lose everything on Wednesday. But nobody, hopefully, is in great need of putting some money in their betting accounts. Speaking of which, I was going to mention that as well. Actually, I've never had. I don't know if anyone else has had this. I've never had a month like this January for losing betting accounts. It's been insane. Like just literally disappearing. Like I feel like Doctor Who the amount of times I've regenerated in January. Yeah, something about January, I don't know whether bookmakers are clamping down on certain things, but yeah, just losing accounts left, right and centre. Like, you know, people have said for a long time, like it's, you know, the game's changing, it's hard to get on. My word, like literally, I'm almost driven to going into shops on a daily basis at the moment. I ain't got time for that. So, yeah, it's been frustrating from that point of view in January. And what's annoying as well is every bookmaker does it differently. So at least if you've got the courtesy of a bookmaker to email you to tell you that they're going to restrict your account, some of them don't do it until you start fiddling about and wasting a load of time. So yeah, frustrating. Because yeah, I lost another one at the weekend, and yeah, just yeah. Anyway, that's that. So yeah, I've gone through the stats. We've done that. Golf last week was awful. We didn't get anything near. So, yeah, we'd had a good first week. Then we had some break-even weeks. And then last week, nothing. So, I think overall, you'd still be up very marginally if you'd bet everything with the golf. But obviously, don't record it for the stats. And then in the comments, I said there was nothing Sunday, Monday. Tuesday's comments, so that was today or yesterday, depending on when you're watching this video. I put up 2. One was a bit of a flyer in a bumper, inexperienced horses. Horse ran an awful, horrible race. Never looked interested in the slightest. Fortunately, the second horse I put up at Southwell, which I'm not even going to try and say the name and butcher it. Just to save the cringers from the Irish followers, if I want to butcher another Gaelic name, I've already butchered that horse a number of times. To be fair, I was tested when I was over in Ireland, and I was pretty good at getting the pronunciations of the courses. So, Navan, Listowel, Turles. I think maybe I'm trying. But anyway, the horse at Southwell, 5 o'clock, that drifted. I put it up at 14s, drifted to 22s. Why it drifted to 22s, I've got absolutely no idea. Like sometimes in betting, I was convinced that horse was going to go off shorter because I had it at 7-1. Like 6 or 7s is where I had it, and I was like, "There's no reason why that horse isn't going to get shorter." But at some point, it went out to 25s, and 22s was the SP. Mad, and I appreciate not everyone's a fan of Robert Havlin, so he has won a nice price winner for the channel. But obviously that doesn't count for stats. So if anyone was on, brilliant, nice 22-1 winner. But now for the stats on that one. All right, I think that's it. So I'll go through the bets and then I'll get on with the other bits. So here is what I've got for Wednesday. So here's the Dundalk bet. They're really competitive handicaps, these. I know like it's Dundalk and they're always really competitive, but I think particularly so for the Wednesday card. I'm happy with what I've got in terms of the value play, but you know, some days these can go all in your favour and some completely not in your favour. So 2 o'clock, Hasten Slowly 14s, 3:35 Poet's Pride 16s, 4:05 Millie Blue 14s, and then I've split legged the last leg. And I used to do this quite a bit, and then I've sort of haven't, and then yeah, I've got both of them like this today. Just the way it works out with the selection process and kind of how I'm putting the bet together. But for those of you unfamiliar, this is 2 separate Yankees. So a usual Yankee on the channel, 20p each way. This is 2 10p each ways, and leg 4 is different. So the first legs 1, 2, and 3 are the same. Leg 4 different. So we've got the River Runs Deep and Wooden Head. So it's 2 10p each way Yankees, 50p each way singles on the double figure prices, 50p win singles on the River Runs Deep and Wooden Head, and we've got a 35p each way double. It's very marginal today. I was trying to look at what were my best 2, and it was very, very marginal. So you'll see in total of the 10 horses, 7 are double figures. It was very difficult to kind of say what were the better ones of. So I've marginally made it Poet's Pride and Millie Blue. So if they turn out to be the best 2 of the day, then I got lucky in terms of making that double on there. I'm absolutely happy to say that. Not lucky with the selections, but if those 2 turn out to be the best 2, then yeah, that was a little bit of fortune because it could have gone a few different ways. 9 10's a total amount for the bet. Sky Best because they are 5 on the first 2 at Dundalk and 4 on that one, and no one else is. Everyone else is pretty much 4 places across the board. You know, as long as you ignore the usual terrible each way firms like Bet Victor and stuff like that. So 9 10 is the bet. And then bet 2 is this. So Exeter 2 handicaps there at the end of the day. 4.15 Exeter Valoran Gold 16s. 4.45 Exeter. I'm having a try at Comanche Red. I think it's a really interesting profile of a horse. It's first run for a couple of years. It's been running in point to points. Stayed in the family, in the Gordon family, but yeah, it's been running well over point to points. But you go back a couple of years ago, and that horse was 8th in the Lanzarote hurdle, and it's like hugely come down in the weights because of the fact it's not run over proper rules for a couple of years. But I think it's worth chancing at 20s. And then we're going to go 2 at Kempton races, 6:30 Kempton, Dubai Station 18s. I can argue a case for that one, but it's a bit inconsistent in the profile. And then the 7 o'clock, I've split-legged it between Suffragette at 8s and Glenister at 16s. So it's 2 times 10p each way. Yankees again, same as the previous bet. First 3 legs are the same, and then going on to Suffragette. First 3 legs going on to Glenister. 4 lots of 50p each way singles on the 4 double-figure prices. 50p win single on Suffragette. 8.90 is the bet. This one, mainly these Exeter races, it's come out Sky Best, 365 second, and then Unibet or Boyle Sports are third best for this, 8.90. So that's 18 quid is the bet. One thing I was going to flag on there, because I know for some people it'd be blinking obvious, but from when I'm putting singles down on the channel, it is illustrative of what I do in my own personal betting, but it's, again, like a lot of stuff I do, it's unconventional to what mainstream people would steer you down towards, or whatever it might be, right? So if you imagine 50p win single, 50p is like, let's imagine that's 1 point, so people who like point systems, 50p is 1 point. So technically what that means is I am putting 1 point on a win single, and I'm putting 1 point each way, so 2 points in total on an each way bet. So I'm doubling the amount on a bigger priced horse. So I've got the 1 point on the win part and 1 on the place part. So I calculate when I think it's okay to put an extra amount of stake on the place part of the bet. What most people do, and conventional thought process, is the higher odds you go, the lower pointage you go. And that's because if people truly believe that the market has the prices right, they would do that. But you are literally just killing your value by doing that. If it's not just, doesn't mean that big price converts to big value, because you need to believe the horse has got a chance. But if a horse like that one that won today at Southwell, if it's 14 to 1, and I think the horse should be 6 or 7 to 1, I've got 7 or 8 point margin on that. If a horse is 15 to 8 and I think it should be 6 to 4, that's like less than half a point margin on it. So for those ones, short ones, I don't even put singles on them. So usually for me to put any sort of single on personally, it'd have to be at least 5 to 1 for me to even think about a single bet on it. And conventional wisdom is, right, if it's an even money, let's put 5 point on it because it's got a really good chance because it's an even money favourite. Or we've got a 25 to 1, we'll just put half a point each way on it. That, if you think about it, don't make sense, does it? Right? So because the even money shots aren't the ones that are going to turn you over in terms of actually generating you the proper profit. So those sorts of horses can be filler bets. You have to have a lot of even money favourites win compared to a 25 to 1 shot winning, or a 22 to 1 shot, whatever it might be. So more of my stake goes on bigger prices, and then the scale goes up. When I get to certain price points, and certain point differentials, that's when I start then putting equivalent of, here we're talking about 1 point on a win and 1 point each way on a 25 to 1. I might get to 50 to 1, and that might then become 2 point each way, and that might be 4 points total, where I've got a 1 point on an 8 to 1 winner. I might have 4 points on a 50 to 1, so it's 2 point each way. That makes sense. I mean, no one's going to answer me because I'm talking to a screen, but hopefully it does, because a lot of what I do goes against what conventional wisdom is, because a lot of conventional wisdom is wrong, hence why so many people lose. So there's some brilliant people at picking the right horses sometimes, but they don't know actually how to bet and how to stake. Short price doesn't mean more stake. Bigger differential between what the price should be and what it actually is means bigger stake. Get it? Got it. Winner. Right, I was going to mention golf for this week. So I've mentioned one in the Bahrain Masters. We got one in there, and The Pebble Beach one, the Pebble Beach, there's only 80 golfers, and you've got quite a few bookies paying 7 in the outright market. So like your Paddies, your Betfair, 888, William Hill, Betway, they're sort of, generally speaking, the better bookies for Pebble Beach. But I think most tournaments might have between 120, 140 participants and paying 8 places, and here we've got 80 participants, 7 places. So you've got a slight better mathematical advantage. Well, no, it's not an advantage. You've got a slight better mathematical equation than the average golf tournament, as how it's worked out at Pebble Beach. So yeah, and I, to be honest, the shortlist of Pebble Beach had about 10, and I was getting it down and down and down and down and down, and in the end I just got it down to 5. It was 6, and now it's 5. So yeah, everything on the Pebble Beach tournament, they're all between 66 to 1 and 150 to 1, and the Bahrain Masters 125 to 1. So all advised, same stake, a 1 point each way single, or 50p each way single if you're betting channel equivalent stakes. So those will all be in the comments. And then Dundalk. What was I going to say about Dundalk and Dublin? Just a general bit of kind of observation. Had a really lovely time. Myself and Mrs. FC had a great time. We were over there for 3 nights in the end. Flew over. Very windy. I think, as I said on a previous video, very, very windy on landing. Like gusts at an airport like you absolutely don't want. Like the plane is literally doing this as it's landing. But yeah, got there in one piece with all my faculties still intact, just about. And literally got there late Thursday. Friday had a really nice breakfast. Went a bit high end. Had a very nice breakfast. Then had a little bit of a potter around town in Dublin. Went to a lovely park. Went and had a little look around for some shops and stuff like that. One observation: I've never seen so many people painting bins. There seemed to be a whole team of people who were spending the day on Friday repainting all the bins bright green. I'm trying to remember in my life if I've ever seen anybody paint a bin full stop. But to see like a dozen people, it felt like, in all different parts of Dublin painting bins green. Yeah, fair play for making the bins look respectable. I don't know if I just happened to come on the 10-year anniversary of bin painting. It was lovely, clean and tidy. But it was really nice. There was some kind of folk music festival going on at the weekend there as well. So I managed to catch up with some. Well, I didn't catch up with some. Mrs. FC's was keen to go and see some Irish folk stuff, so we went. Really, really enjoyable. So Friday. So that was Saturday. I jumped forward there. Friday, went to Dundalk. Thank you very much to AC Irish for being my transportation and guide. It was very, very kind. I had quite a few people reach out for various things to me, and really, really appreciate it. It just made my life a lot easier. Perfectly capable of getting a train, but if someone's saying they're going to go anyway, then who am I to turn that down? Had a nice, great time really at Dundalk. It's a bit of a shame. There's a few people who said they were going to come who didn't materialise at the woodwork, so I'm hoping they're all right. Because I've not heard from since. There was one person I heard had a family challenge, and there was a few other people that said they were going to come and then didn't appear. So I'm just hoping they're all right. But then it was really nice. Met a whole bunch of people. Fair play to Zach, who made a massive effort to come over. I'm pretty sure he probably thought when he got there it wasn't actually worth the hassle of all of the buses and planes, but massive respect and appreciation, Zach, for getting yourself over there, and I hope you had a nice enough time, even though you probably spent more time travelling than physically there at Dundalk. It was great fun. Great to see Des's horse run. Sadly, it didn't run as expected, but good to kind of see all that and get involved there. Just met some really lovely people. And nice to put faces to names and handles and stuff and that kind of stuff. And what I would say as well about Dundalk, if you've never been, it's a really well put together course, right? If I compare it to Kempton, where it's an all-weather course, and they also have kind of facilities for jump racing, and you kind of think it should be better than average. Dundalk is cracking. I mean, it was mad things I've never seen. Like the on-course bookmakers are all inside. Can you believe it? They're not even outside on the rails. They're all inside. There's a special bit like a conservatory where they stand. So yeah, that was fascinating. But yeah, just like the plenty of space inside the bar and the betting ring and things. Yeah, like and this might sound dumb, but if you've ever been to Kempton on a cold January, like I know people like Phil are there regularly, right? It's blinking freezing. They don't put the heating on inside. But in Dundalk, heating's on inside, and there's plenty more seats to sit down, and warm seats at that. So, yeah, I was very impressed with the facilities. I mean, I know it's on regularly, and they've got the greyhounds there, and the greyhounds was on after the races as well. But facilities really, really good. Lovely track to go to, and really close. Like there's not really much between you and the rail the horses are finishing on as well, so you can get right up close. Unlike some of these horses where there's a massive gap in between. So, yeah, really, really fun experience. Definitely would like to go back again in the future. Definitely want to go back to more Irish tracks as well in the future. But yeah, got back, and then Saturday, yeah, me and Mrs. FC just yeah, had a bit more of a leisurely day. Yeah, I think we went and got some breakfast, and yeah, potted about again, and had a very nice lunch actually on Saturday. If anyone ever goes to Dublin, I would recommend, if you like a bit of meat, go to Featherblade. So they do steaks and they do burgers, really reasonably priced, and it was really tasty food. And I would definitely recommend going back there, particularly the bacon croquettes. They're decent. So yeah, recommend Featherblade for anyone who likes a bit of meat. And you know, it's not crazy money for what you get as well. So it was decent value. So recommend there. And then earlier said we went and watched a bit of music, and that was nice, really good to do something like that. And then yeah, we went back on Sunday and caught up with the little people. So that's that. All good. In terms of like next channel meetup, I don't know yet. I haven't got a plan. I appreciate if I've done South East England and I've gone over to Ireland. Fair's fair. It's probably like got to be the north of England, sort of Scotland. Probably that's got to be it. But as to when I'm going to get to do that, I'm not sure yet. I will come back on that one, but it's certainly not going to be imminently. It certainly won't be imminently. So at the earliest, it'll be the back end of this year. But no fixed plans on that, because what I try and do with these meetups as well is try and go to a kind of a regular day where it's not excessive to get in. So like, you know, I think it was €15 to get into Dundalk. I'm trying to avoid going to like a big meeting that's really, really busy, because it costs more to get in and it'd be harder to find people. So yeah, we'll see how we go with that. Anything else? I think that was probably it for this video. I think I might leave it like that. So I'll update you with what I can for Cheltenham. I think it's doubtful I'll get a video out this week, but I will definitely try and get some selections, anti-post selections that might be attached to an existing video ahead of the stuff at the racing in Ireland this weekend. Because as I said, there's a few bits I'm looking at there. But that's it. All right, so let's hope we can turn the £18 into £39 for Wednesday and at least break even for the month. If we don't, we don't. We were up 6 last year and down 6, overall up plenty. The year before we were up 9, down 3. All the stats are there. They're all transparent. Most of you know that, but they're in the description of the video if you want to go and peruse. It's very important to me that the stats are there and they're transparent and they're clear. There are far too many folk out there pulling the wool over your eyes, being a bit creative with their accountancy. Look at my profit and loss. How do I calculate it? Oh, don't worry about that. I'm just £2,000 up. You know, none of that here, right? So win, lose or draw, it's all there. It's all there. I'm not trying to be the best. I am probably trying to aim to have one of the best sets of data for the channel. That would be true to say. Not trying to be the best channel, not trying to be the best tipster or whatever you want to say. I am trying to demonstrate to you how to have better quality data, so therefore you can ask for that kind of data of other people. If they don't know, more fool them. All right, that's me. Have a lovely day. I'll be back tomorrow night, hopefully a little bit better than I am tonight, but I've managed to get through half an hour of video, so I can't be too bad, can I? All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.